I'll never forget the first time I read the message. It came from an old friend of mine, someone I hadn't heard from in years. The subject line simply said, "You won't believe what happened to me." I hesitated for a moment before opening the email, unsure of what to expect. But when I did, the words I found on the screen sent a chill down my spine. My friend was sharing something that, at first, seemed too surreal to be true, something so disturbing, so haunting that I couldn't ignore it. She began by saying that she had always been skeptical of supernatural stories. Growing up, she had brushed off every ghost story, every encounter with the unexplained, as nothing more than the products of overactive imaginations or strange coincidences. But what she experienced changed everything. This wasn't a made-up story or a childhood fright, this was real. It had happened to her. She went on to explain that it all started when she moved into an old Victorian house in a small town she had just relocated to. The house, she said, was beautiful in a way that was almost too perfect. Tall, narrow windows, a winding staircase, old wooden floors that creaked with every step. But there was something about the house, something about the air that felt wrong. She couldn't quite put her finger on it at first, but it made her uneasy. Every time she walked through the rooms, there was an inexplicable heaviness in the air, as if the house was holding on to something. Or worse, as if something was holding on to the house. It wasn't long before strange things began to happen. Little things at first, whispers in the walls, soft footsteps when no one was around. She brushed them off as the usual sounds of an old building settling. But deep down, she felt like she was being watched. Then came the first truly chilling moment. One night, after hearing what she described as faint, deliberate footsteps upstairs, she went to investigate, convinced it was just the house making its usual creaking noises. But what she found when she reached the top of the stairs was nothing short of terrifying. Not a person, but a shadow that moved against the grain of the dim light from the hall. The kind of shadow that shouldn't have been there, no source, no shape, just darkness moving in a way that felt wrong. Her heart pounded in her chest as she called out, but there was no answer. When she stepped forward to investigate, the shadow was gone. From that moment on, the strange occurrences only grew worse. Every night she would hear tapping at her bedroom door. Soft at first, like someone gently knocking, but there was no one there when she opened it. The knocking persisted, growing louder each time. But the real horror came one evening, late at night when the knock came again, followed by a faint whisper, soft, yet unmistakably clear, "Let me in." Her heart raced as she bolted upright, the weight of dread pressing down on her chest. She called out, thinking it was just her mind playing tricks. But the voice came again, louder this time and unmistakably real. Terrified, she opened the door, half expecting to find a prankster or some rational explanation. But the hallway was empty, as still as the grave. It was then that the real nightmare began. At the end of the hallway, she saw a figure. At first, it looked like a trick of the light, but as it stepped forward, she realized with horror that it wasn't. It was a man, but not a living one. The figure was tall and gaunt, with hollow eyes that seemed to pierce right through her. His skin was sickly pale, stretched tight over bones that appeared almost translucent. It moved toward her, slowly, deliberately, with a gait that was unnatural, as if it wasn't walking so much as gliding across the floor. Frozen in terror, she couldn't move. She couldn't scream. She could only watch as the figure drew closer, the temperature in the house dropping to a level she couldn't comprehend. She tried to turn and run, but her body wouldn't respond. And then, in an instant, the figure vanished, leaving nothing but an oppressive, suffocating silence. Still shaken, she bolted downstairs, hoping to escape whatever it was that had followed her. But when she reached the living room, it felt as though the air itself was alive with energy, vibrating with something dark. The whispers returned, louder now, echoing from the corners of the house. But still, no source, no face, no body, just the voices. She felt them wrap around her, almost suffocating her with their presence. Desperate and terrified beyond reason, she gathered what little she could and fled the house that very night. It was the only choice she felt she had. She ran out into the cold, dark streets, and for a brief moment when she looked back, she swore. She saw that same figure in the window, staring out at her. In her email, she ended the story by saying that she would never return to that house. She wasn't sure what she had encountered, whether it was a ghost, a spirit, or something else entirely. But what she knew for sure was that some things are better left unexplained. And after reading it, I knew I could never look at the supernatural the same way again. Her experience was far too real, too detailed to be dismissed as mere imagination. Sometimes the dead don't stay buried, they find a way to walk among us, and they have a way of making their presence known when we least expect it.